Welcome to the Wednesday meditation. Tonight we're going to be doing Satanama. But while Jack is speaking, if you would like to put a prayer request before then into the prayer box, you're welcome to do that. It will be prayed over for a month. And I just write their name on a piece of paper, which is by the prayer box, and there's a pen there also. What was that?
All the signs on the doors are closed, the side doors are all locked.
The back doors are all locked in this.
But all the signs are still up.
Great, so there's no way to get into the building?
The front door, the sign is still there, so it goes to the
Yeah, I think that they've been in the habit of just keeping the doors locked. But I think that we should open them for services, the back, so that people can park in the back. That might be something we could change. And then lock back up again when everything's over. Well, anyway, we want to make it as convenient as possible for people to come into the building. Very, very strange time, isn't it? It's just like we're having to do such unnatural things at this time. We're preparing right now for a Thanksgiving service on choir, and that's going to be on Thursday at 6:30, and you're welcome to come to that. We'll be sitting in the sanctuary, a distance from each other, and I'm going to try to keep the music pretty simple for that. Will be a little harder for the Christmas once we start, but we'll get acclimated by maybe getting a unit going and you feeling comfortable. Because having a choir is so magical for all our events in the holidays, and we'd love for you to be part of it. So that's Thursday at 6:30. We're going to do Satanama, and that's Sa-ta-na-ma. And Sa is the beginning, infinity, the totality of everything that ever was or will be. Ta is life, existence, and creativity that manifests from infinity. Na is change and the transformation of consciousness. Ma is rebirth, regeneration, and resurrection, which allows us to consciously experience the joy of the infinite. Satanama is so primal that its impact on our psyche is like splitting an atom. The power of this mantra comes from the fact that it rearranges the subconscious mind at the most elementary level. It has the power to break habits and addictions because it accesses the level of the mind where habits are created. I do Satanama every morning, and I do it for 12 minutes. It's supposed to be 12 minutes. We won't be doing 12 minutes tonight, but let's get the feeling of what that is. Okay. We'll be having music underneath that will help us feel connected to the whole process. Sa-ta-na-ma, 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 Sata Nama 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 Sata Nama.
Good evening, everyone. You must be counted among the dedicated of the world. In this amazing, high-tech, fast-paced, never-ending, stimulating world, it is not easy to find true life. But you are here seeking it, and as it is promised, if you seek, you will find. Last Sunday at the 9 a.m. meditation service, someone came up to me afterwards in Fellowship Hall and asked a question in search of some clarification. In essence, what they said was, you have always said, or mostly said, that the practice of meditation is the healing path, or the path to healing your life. And today you said that gratitude was the path to healing your life. So in response to that, I shared the fact that I assume those people attending the 9 a.m. meditation service are meditating. I mean, I've got to believe that everybody attending that service is practicing meditation. Just as I believe that you people showing up here on a Wednesday evening are also practicing meditation. So when I use the idea of gratitude as a pathway to healing one's life, I'm using it in this respect. It is not possible for us to conjure sacred love, the experience or the feeling of sacred love. Sacred love is completely higher and beyond anything defined as love in the connections and relationships of the world. But we can't make ourselves love unconditionally or in a sacred fashion. We can't make our minds do that, because the minds are pretty much locked into an illusionary definition of itself. So we cannot do that. But it is necessary, if we're going to come to true life and the majesty and the experience of sacred love, it is necessary for the mind to first realize the truth of the at-one-ment, which is how A Course in Miracles refers to the interconnectedness of everything in life. So A Course in Miracles calls it the at-one-ment. The mind has to learn that through its spiritual practice, through meditation, and through whatever spiritual practices it employs, or in order to learn this truth, the reality of life, before there can be the experience of sacred love. And in the process, when one arrives in, touches upon that level of consciousness, there is automatically a feeling of appreciation and gratitude that is transcendent in itself. So A Course in Miracles will speak to these truths over and over again, knowing that the human mind, especially in the Western culture, has the ability to forget. And what is even worse, it has the ability to take for granted the miracle of being alive. We do it continually, taking for granted the miracle of being alive. But A Course in Miracles will speak to us again in this way. This is from the Course in Miracles workbook on page 218. If you have the new workbook, it's you can see it in lesson 124. Today, we will again give thanks for our identity in God. Our home is safe, protection guaranteed in all we do, power and strength available to us in all our undertakings. We can fail in nothing. Everything we touch takes on a shining light that blesses and that heals. At one with God and with the universe, we go our way rejoicing with the thought that God Himself goes everywhere with us. How holy are our minds, and everything we see reflects the holiness within the mind at one with God and with itself. How easily do errors disappear and death give place to everlasting life. Our shining footprints point the way to truth, for God is our companion as we walk the world a little while, and those who come to follow us will recognize the way, because the light we carry stays behind, yet still remains with us as we walk. This is, I know if you're not used to A Course in Miracles, this is such an amazing insight into reality. I'll share this with you again. Today we will again give thanks for our identity in God. Our home is safe, protection guaranteed in all we do, power and strength available to us in all our understandings, all our undertakings. We can fail in nothing. Everything we touch takes on a shining light that blesses and that heals. At one with God and with the universe, we go our way rejoicing with the thought that God Himself goes everywhere with us. How holy are our minds, and everything we see reflects the holiness within the mind at one with God and with itself. How easily do errors disappear and death give place to everlasting life. Our shining footprints point the way to truth, for God is our companion as we walk the world a little while, and those who come to follow us will recognize the way, because the light we carry stays behind, yet still remains with us as we walk on. This is becoming an emissary of light. in the unenlightened outlook on life. The world appears to be a place of tribulation, conflict, suffering, disease, and pain. And of course, we wonder why that exists, because we think God is omnipresent. Well, God is omnipresent, but we are not on the level of that oneness, which is omnipresence. In any given situation, under any given conditions, in any given place, God is available as unconditional, sacred, healing love. But our minds are not open to embrace that, because to embrace it is to immediately surrender the world as we have been conditioned to believe it, the world as we have been taught in school to believe it, the world that our parents, our peers, and everyone in authority has given us to believe. That is the illusionary definition of life. And it is the reason why we will never be able to make the world conform or have peace until each mind journeys into that refined level of awareness. What I'm about to say to you now is going to be something you're going to have to hold on to and meditate with and stay with. Because what I'm about to say is absolutely true, but from a totally enlightened state, it is true. But from even the slightest variations on that state of consciousness, it will seem very strange what I'm going to say. The part is whole, and the whole is in every part. The part is whole, and the whole is in every part. You may want to contemplate that on your own, but it will give you the basis for the new definition of reality. So that as one enters the process of transformation, the purification of his or her mind, that one begins to realize the effect in everything it looks upon in that world it used to look at as being simply a place of suffering and death. It changes. Why is that? Why would just the one person doing that enter into another vision of life? Because each part is whole and has the ability to gain the vision divine. And as it does that, it affects, it influences, it inspires everything around that one. Changing, watching it change, watching it heal, seeing it blessed, understanding the reasons for the suffering, transcending all of that, and seeing the joy and the love and the peace of the presence of God at work in every single moment of life. And of course, all of the masters speak to this. I will share this with you also from, this is the Master Eckhart Tolle. And this is from his great book, The New Earth. I'm reading from page 4, paragraph 2. Once there is a certain degree of presence, and that's with a capital P, presence, of still and alert attention in human beings, of still and alert attention in human beings' perceptions, they can sense the divine life essence, the one indwelling consciousness or spirit in every creature, every life form, recognize it as one with their own essence, and so love it as themselves. Until this happens, however, most humans see only the outer forms, unaware of the inner essence, just as they are unaware of their own essence and identify only with their own physical and psychological form. I will share this again as well. Don't try to just wrap your head around this. It just takes a little relaxed faith to be okay, because something greater than you is going to prompt you into the consciousness of God. It is already with you, and it will prompt you. Don't be overly concerned about intellectually grasping these truths. They come to light by a gentle faith and a willingness to move higher. Once there is a certain degree of presence, of still and alert attention in human beings' perceptions, they can sense the divine life essence, the one indwelling consciousness or spirit in every creature, every life form, recognize it as one with their own essence, and to love it as themselves. Until this happens, however, most humans see only the outer forms, unaware of the inner essence, just as they are unaware of their own essence and identify only with their own physical and psychological form. And let me say this. Our journey is not without setbacks. There will be times when even your most powerful affirmation to stay in that awareness of gratitude will falter and fail. But not for long. It'll be something will happen, and it will throw you. And I will give you an example. I haven't had any example like this for many, many, many years. But about 10 years ago, maybe a little longer, Norma and I drove up to Steamboat Springs in the mountains. We had our son Shad with us, and we were going to see Santisha, who was in a dance camp up in Steamboat Springs. So after visiting her, we had had a long day, and I had some problems with the car. But after all was said and done, it was getting late. We decided to stop and buy some sandwiches in a sandwich shop. And our plan was to pull into one of the parks up there and have kind of a makeshift picnic before we drove all the way back home. And so it all went. We bought the sandwiches. We pulled into this beautiful park that had picnic tables there. We went to a picnic table and sat down, opened our sandwiches, and were eating when a park ranger, a lady about maybe, I don't know, 30 years old in a ranger uniform came over to the table and said, you didn't put any money in the pipe to use the picnic area. I said, what? she said, you have to pay $5 if you want to picnic in this park. And so I have to write you a ticket. As I recall it, I lost it so completely. I mean, it was not an easy day to begin with, but the whole concept of having to pay to picnic in a public park that my taxes pay for, that pay the salary for this tiny little ranger, was just infuriating to me. And I said, well, where's the big sign that says I'm supposed to? She said, you see that big brown sign over there? I said, yeah, it's filled with information. There was an RV parked in front of it when I pulled in. She said, it doesn't matter. You have to pull up and read the directions if you want to do something in the park. And as I was saying that, she said, so I have to write you this ticket. And in my mind, I was saying, the one thing that is never going to happen on planet Earth is I paying this ticket. That is never going to happen. And that's what was going on in my mind. I didn't say this to her. But I was there. And she looked at me and said, oh yeah? You're going to pay this ticket. I can't believe it. I mean, I telegraphed the thoughts in my mind directly into her unenlightened Nazi mind. And she was furious. I said, oh, no, you're going to pay this ticket. I said, we'll see. She says, no. She said, you want to get locked up? I said, no. All right. Give me the ticket. So I took the ticket, and I was determined. Nothing on earth would ever make me pay that ticket. I would drive home. They could do what they want up in the Steamboat Springs courtroom, whatever they wanted to do. Well, about a month later, I took Cinticia's broken down VW car that one door didn't work. She had, the windows were broke on one side. You couldn't get out the driver's side door. And it was sitting in the parking lot here at the church, and it was an eyesore. So I said, I'll drive that thing out of here. I've got to drive it up to my house. So I was driving it up to my house, and there was a police car following me from the last part of the trip up to my house. They were on the mountain road, and all of a sudden they sounded their siren and said, pull over. And I pulled over, and I had my dog Gashawi in the car, and he's barking like a maniac. I can't even hear what they're shouting. They're telling me to get out of the car with my hands up and all that stuff. And he's barking away, and I'm trying to tell him I can't open the driver's side door. I can't get out. So it was just completely fraught with insanity. Till finally they walked up to the car and said, what's going on? I told you to get out of the car. I said, I can't. The door is totally broken. I can't. He said, all right, get out of the other side. So get out of the other side. And he said, I said, look, my house is right up here. Can I take my dog back up into my house? They said, no, you're under arrest. So they looked up something, and they said, you're under arrest. I said, I'm under arrest. They said, that's right, just get into the police car. So look at this, I'm not even going to be able to finish this thing. You're early?
A little early, yeah.
Well, that's good for you.
Keep going. Just keep going.
Thank you, Norma. So they drive me back to police headquarters in Boulder. And I'm sitting down there in the detective bureau, and I said, can you tell me what is going on? Why aren't they supposed to just give me a ticket? What is this that I'm arrested? They say, you're wanted. I'm what? You're wanted. I'm wanted? Yes, you're wanted in Steamboat Springs. You now owe $60 on a picnic ticket. Oh, it was out. And the thing is, I didn't have $60 with me. Now they are actually going to transport me to Steamboat Springs in the middle of the evening, I'm going to Steamboat Springs to pay the little Nazi's ticket, which is now $60. So I just want to give you that insight as what can happen to you when you think you're a spiritual being and you do things. But when you lose it, don't lose it that big. Never lose it that big, because for some reason, your thoughts are powerful when you get to that place. And I had to call people in the church till I finally got somebody. It's so embarrassing. Till I got somebody in the church who could come up with the $60 that I needed, that they could send up to Steamboat Springs and pay the ticket. So it was a catastrophe. I lost my temper, and it was a catastrophe. But I haven't had a situation like that for quite a while. And but it is, we will have moments when we will lose it. In the end, I want you to realize the majesty and the miracle of what you're doing here. If you grasp the idea of practicing gratitude, appreciation. Now, your meditation may not have taken you into that refined space of divine oneness. It may not, but your gratitude will work from the outside in. Because even as you fake gratitude and fake appreciation, ultimately the mind is being focused on its reality. In reality, when you enter that space, divine, you will be so overwhelmed with gratitude and appreciation that all the dogma that ever said you need to be doing this or doing that to be right with God will just completely disappear. You will be one with God. You will know the kingdom of heaven. So you practice gratitude because it operates to focus the mind out of the usual distractions of the right and wrong of this, the up and down, the in, the out, who's right, who's the wars here, the politics there. You can leave all that behind. Just practice appreciation and gratitude and continue with your meditation. And you will eventually find your way into the most refined level of awareness, which is the goal of all spiritual practice. The reality of seeing the oneness everywhere, knowing that you are here to bless and enjoy and participate in the miracle of being alive, truly alive. We're going to practice that this evening with our Tibetan bowls, tuning into that, allowing ourselves to just flow with that, beautiful tones coming out, being present, and allowing the thinking that occupies our awareness day in and day out, allowing it to subside. Don't try to force it to stop. Just allow it to subside. Look at your thoughts passing by as you might be watching an uninteresting, colorless, soundless, meaningless parade. That's what they are in the unenlightened state. Your thoughts are a colorless, soundless, meaningless parade. And just to let them come and go, and bring your awareness gently into this mantra. There is only one everything. Only one. In you, in me, in everything we see. There is only one. Only God. in this refined level of awareness, we will offer the names of those that have been submitted to our prayer list. As Norma calls the name, you can simply let the thought, "You are healed," go forth to that name.
John Stovall, Steve Sheets, Sandy Chamberlain, Winnie the Cat, Sandy Spahn, Tate and Alexandra Martell, Kate Fraser, Marissa, Judy, Anna, Tim School Vision Therapy Program and School Office, Judy Kennedy, Elsie Wilkins, Erica, Teresa Heracata and family, Francoise Chandel and family and daughter, Bobby Garrett, Mary Ann Hatch, Daniel Higgin, E. Brian Jackson, Daniel Rivard, Dan James, Shad in the Unity Movement, Megan Black, Shane Riley, Joy, Mike Post, Scott Baker and family, Tim Spahn, Jolene, Lori, Ching, Bob, Betty, Baby Ensley, Nick Law, Tiz and Ashley, Rachel, Sebastian and family, Megan Patterson, Tate Martell, Perfect Health, the United States government. May COVID leave this planet. The air, water, earth, all life on planet Earth. And you can call out a name at this time if you'd like to do so.
Michael Crew, Connie Crew, and the entire Crew family.
We see this healing light surrounding the prayer box and all the people's names that have been submitted throughout the month. We see them healed physically, mentally, and spiritually.
As we contemplate this vision, let us see this healing awareness coming to fruition in the consciousness of everyone sharing this Boulder community with us. And this refined divine consciousness opening up in the awareness of everyone sharing the state of Colorado with us. And this refined divine consciousness opening up in the consciousness of everyone sharing these United States of America with us. And so it is that this consciousness goes out and opens in the awareness of every human being on planet Earth, restoring that insight of the presence of God in every place, in every condition, and bringing harmony again to all the relationships of human beings and the other life forms sharing planet Earth, holding this image of the new heaven and the new earth. Let us pray. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and God is love. To this we say, Amen. We will take an offering for unity now, and we will take a regular offering here in the sanctuary with our offering bags. If you have a physical offering you'd like to make, or you can use the dip jar, credit card dip jar in the lobby. And those of you online can scroll down to where it says donate, and it'll tell you how you can donate to Unity of Boulder. And let us bring to mind that financial gift we'd all like to make, and let's bless it with this prayer. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive, because I give. And so it is.
I am thankful. This is the. I am thankful for each breath I take. Is a miracle of life. I am thankful for each breath I take. Is a miracle of life.
Join me now, please. We dedicate this tithe to the will and the work of the Spirit of truth, the Spirit available to each of us, the Spirit that joins all of us. We dedicate this tithe to the victory of the Spirit of truth. Amen. So we'll have our usual Sunday services at 9 and 11 o'clock.
We have refreshments today here.
Oh, we do have. Do we have tea?
Yeah.
Yeah, we have tea available in the bookstore if you'd like to stay and chat for a while through these doors to your left as you go into the bookstore. And to everyone, good night.